Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're listening to the podcast Capturing Magic. I'm Bill Rogers, the voice of Disney. Thanks very much for listening.
Welcome to Capturing Magic. This is episode 68, recorded on December 11th, 2013. I am Steph, and I am here with Terri Torrez, who is a writer now and new team member over at Capturing Magic. Hi, Terri.
Hi.
And you've been on the show before, too.
Yep.
We should mention. And we have joining us for the very first time, Amy Harrison, who can be found at Merryweather's Cottage.blogspot.com. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Steph. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit to both of you. One of the things that I like to do is share with our listeners when you go to the parks, which Disney World, Disneyland, and who you usually go with. So Terri, remind our listeners, I guess. You're a Disney World girl.
I'm on the East Coast, so I'm mostly a Disney World girl. And I usually go with my immediate family, my husband, my son who's 11, and my sister. And my parents also live right outside of Disney World, so they have annual passes, so we go with them a lot too.
Yay! Lucky them. All right. And Amy, tell us about you? Which parks?
I grew up a Disney World girl, so we take our family there annually, usually in the fall. I have actually never been to Disneyland. It's one of the things I would like to cross off my bucket list in the future. But we go to Disney World with my husband and my 3 children, a 12-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And we usually travel with another family. We've been going about 5 years, I'd say, with them. So it's usually a pretty big party.
Fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. And you have tons of craft ideas and fun ideas over on your blog, too, Disney related.
Yes, it's all Disney related, all DIY. Every now and then I'll throw in something that I've, found at the store or whatever. But I try to do a lot of adding extra magic to our trips, and I try to post as many of those ideas as I can on the blog.
Which is exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is bringing extra pixie dust and magic to your vacations. Because this is something that both of you are really, really good at, and something that I admire about both of you. I haven't done as much of it as I would like to, and a lot of it is just because I get so completely stressed out trying to get everybody packed that I don't plan far enough ahead. So I would like some tips on how you organize it all and get it all together. But I asked each of you to share some ideas with us too. So let's start in, and we can just kind of each of you take turns sharing some of the things that you've done or that you know about. Amy, do you want to start for us?
Sure, I would be happy to. One of the things that I did with the kids a couple years ago, and most of them were elementary school age at that point, is I created a little flip book, sort of a spiral-bound notebook, and I put all kinds of activities in there, monorail bingo and Cinderella's Royal Table bingo and word games and stuff to play in lines. And you can find a lot of it on the blog. But it was a lot of fun, more fun than I actually anticipated it being. And the adults were actually a little bit jealous that they didn't have their own flip books on the trip. So that was one thing that I just really loved, how they could take it anywhere, and anytime we were waiting, it helped them to have something fun and Disney related to do.
So how much prep work did that take for you to put together ahead of time?
That was a lot of prep work. That may have been one of the more intense projects that I did. But I have a little machine called a Zutter machine, and it creates spiral notebooks. So once I had everything printed out, it was pretty simple to put it together. Mm-hmm. But it did require a lot of searching on Pinterest and looking things up online and trying to put things together. But as I said, I do have a couple entries on my blog that if you wanted to do something like that, it could at least get you started.
That's great. Can you send us links for those and we can include them in the show notes?
Absolutely.
For this show. Okay, Terri.
Okay, so I guess I could kind of start at the beginning. I talk about this in a little bit in an upcoming Capturing Magic blog post. But when I took my immediate family to Disney World for the first time, we actually had planned the trip about 5 days out. We had other plans in Orlando, so we had flights and everything. But then those plans got changed, and so suddenly we had a couple of days in Orlando with nothing to do. So we decided to go to the Magic Kingdom, and it happened to be around my son's birthday. So when we went, we decided that, we wanted to do a little something extra for him. So for that trip, we ordered from Disney Floral and Gifts and got him, a little basket. It was like a Jedi Mickey themed basket, and it had a plush Mickey, and it had a Stormtrooper bobblehead and that sort of thing. Balloons and autograph book and all that.
Fun.
And it was fun, and it was an extra little was delivered to the room, and he was very excited, that he got a present from Mickey, and it was a lot of fun. So after that trip, we decided that we really needed to go back, and so that was in October of 2010, and so we planned a trip for the end of January 2011, a 10-day trip, a long trip to do all the parks, and so. I'm an Uber planner. So, we came back, I started planning, I booked everything, booked all my ADRs and all that. And then I didn't have anything left to do. And I still had about 2 months to go. So that's how the sort of genesis of all of this was really to give myself something to do. I decided that instead of, buying him a basket or a present or whatever, that I would make something, that I could, do something of that nature. So I decided to make a goodie bag. And what started as one turned into one for each park. And I dubbed it the Park Explorers Kit.
Oh, fun.
And so I, it was kind of themed, and then I threw in presents for everybody else, and it got a little overboard, but it turned out to be really fun. And so what I did is, so I had the four parks, and so the initial one, because we were only going to spend a little bit of time in Magic Kingdom, about a half day, because we'd already just done 2 days in the Magic Kingdom. So for the first one, I actually packed a box and had things, like sunglasses and water bottles, and the things that he might use on the trip, and I packaged it up and put a label on it like it came from Disney, and then put it on the porch, and so he got that before we went, in pajamas and things like that. Nice. And then for the others, I did, gift bags with things that were themed to the parks. It was a lot of fun, and I got some stuff on sale. I didn't spend a ton of money. It was the kinds of things that Target has a lot of Disney themed stuff, and Michael's and the craft stores often have stuff in the inexpensive, in the dollar aisle or whatever, that you can pick up small toys and gifts and things like that. And then I made notes for each of them from different characters, representing the 4 parks, that said, we heard you were coming, and, here's the surprise. And so then, so I had the first one delivered before we left, and then the other ones appeared in our room during the trip.
I'm kind of curious how you worked that.
Well, at the time, he was 8 and pretty oblivious.
Okay.
He's still kind of oblivious. It gets a little trickier. The funny thing was, after that trip, on our next trip, my husband was like, so you're going to do more of that, right? And, like I said, everybody got presents. It was fun. And now, my sister will do them for me as well. And, but yeah, sometimes it requires a little sleight of hand. And there have been some things that now that he's a little older, he's, did that really come from Disney or did that come from you? And so there have been some things where I've told him, well, they may have consulted me on that one. So,
that's funny.
But he's still, he believes in pixie dust, right? I mean, magical things happen at Disney that don't happen anywhere else.
Yes, they do.
They do.
They do.
I mean, it's kind of funny. We were on our last big trip last December. We were family of the day at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yay!
And, I spent 10 minutes convincing my husband that I had nothing to do with that. Because, it really does happen.
It does, yes.
Yes, all the time.
Yes. Okay, Amy, do you have another one?
Along those lines, when the kids were smaller, ours have since caught on to this, but when the kids were littler, they got a Tinkerbell gift every morning. And Tinkerbell arrived with something fabulous. And it was along the same lines what Terri was just talking about, things that I had found here at home that were inexpensive, something to maybe keep them occupied in the morning while we were still sleeping, or something they might use in the park, like sunglasses or water bottles with their names on them, or just various little gifty items. So we've done the Tinkerbell treasures before. Now that they're older, I just do a gift bag upon arrival. It's their, Pixie Dust or Tinkerbell gift package. And it usually has a t-shirt and then any other items that I've put together. This year, we were at the Wilderness Lodge, so I made some Miko sleeping masks for them out of felt, and I made some candy gift bags that were little hedgehogs, and we had up-themed T-shirts to kind of go along with the Adventure is Out There theme, and we found grape soda bottle cap pins that went along with that, and everybody got a balloon, and we all went through the Magic Kingdom looking like that, and it was a lot of fun. So
fun.
We do that. The other thing along those lines that I have done for our kids on the way home, I recycle one of the popcorn buckets, the souvenir buckets you get at any of the parks. They come with a lid, and I will fill them up with snacks from our dining plan snack credits. Usually from the Candy Cauldron, because let's be honest, everybody loves some sweets. Yeah. And I will pack them up a going home basket or a going home bucket so that they've got snacks and tiny little souvenirs. And I try to get one of the characters to sign a blank letter for me that I have already written up, like, we'll see you next time. I'm excited to see you're coming back, so that there's a little bit, less sting involved in the going home.
It's painful, isn't it?
It's hard. Breaking up is hard to do.
Yes. Or one of the ideas that I saw from your Up, was it your Up? Yeah. And you did the hats. Is that right? Am I thinking?
The aviator hats.
Yeah.
Yes. I found those actually through Oriental Trading Company, and they were so perfect. I forgot about that. The kids absolutely loved how goofy they were. So they were, and everybody wears a goofy hat in Disney. So It's perfect. Nobody has to feel weird about it. And yeah, we paraded ourselves around looking like the Up kids. It was great.
Yeah, I thought that was a really fun idea. For that, did you just wear those on one day? Everybody wore them on the same day?
Yeah, we did. In the past, we have gone to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And so we've tried to, like one year we were all Mouseketeers. So we had T-shirts with our names on them and the Mickey Mouseketeer logo. And we all wore our Mickey ears. So this was sort of another take on that. So it's an easy costume. It's not, a giant princess dress in the luggage. And it was easy to just pack it up and pull it out and have fun. And then, it's not, I also didn't spend $45 on a dress or more, It was cheap and easy.
Yeah. I was surprised that I don't remember how much those hats were, but I remember thinking, wow, that's really affordable.
Yeah, they were under $10 a piece easily. So
yeah.
I mean, if you were doing an Up birthday party or something, they would be terrific party favors.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Terri.
Okay. Let me think. So one of my favorite ones, and I think it underscores an important point about cast member involvement. Like Amy was just saying about getting the characters to sign the letter and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not hard to get cast members and characters and whatever involved in some of these And it can make it really a lot of fun. And it's fun for them, too. So what we did is, this was, let's see, October 2011. It was my son's birthday. And we decided to, we were actually there on his birthday. Our last day was on his birthday. And it was a short trip that we had gone for food and wine. And so we told my son that we were going just for food and wine, just Epcot, no Magic Kingdom. And he was fine with that. He's a big foodie. We all are. So we were excited about that. But so the morning of his birthday, I took him out to get breakfast. And when we came back, somebody had decorated the room and, paper banners and, balloons and then presents. And so he opened his presents, and then, had that little birthday surprise. And then we went over to Epcot and did some food seminars and stuff. And then in the afternoon, after we came out of one of the seminars, I had snagged a cast member and handed her an envelope addressed to my son. And so she came up to my son and said, I have a message from Mickey. He wanted me to give this to you. So
Very nice.
You got this expression on his face. So he opens it up and it says, I have another birthday surprise for you, but you have to go back to your room. We were staying at the Dolphin. And so we walked back to the room, and in the room were costumes, Halloween costumes, and tickets to the Halloween party.
Oh, fun.
And,
very nice.
So my son, spent the whole night telling cast members, telling people, Mickey invited me to the party because it's my birthday.
So cute.
It's just one of my all-time favorite moments. And again, all it took was a few notes and a little paper banner and nothing particularly complex. That was one of those areas where he was like, well, how did he know what costumes to get us? Because we all dressed up for the party, And he's like, actually, his big concern was, he knows that I'm such an Uber planner that his big concern was, well, how did they know it would fit into our schedule?
But we have 80 hours somewhere else.
Right. So I had to tell him that Disney had consulted me on that one. But
which wouldn't be far-fetched now with my Disney experience and everything,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so, yeah.
Okay. Is that all for that one?
Yeah.
That's a super fun idea. I love it.
Really.
Do you have another one, Amy?
I do. These are just a couple of things. When I was a kid, we always went to the campgrounds. We had an RV, and the other families we traveled with had RVs. And so we all stayed in the campgrounds, and we had been there enough to know kind of what that entailed and what we were getting into. And my dad rented a golf cart, because if you've ever been to Fort Wilderness, you know that it's a very large resort, and it can take a little while to get places. So they rent golf carts for people who want them. And he went to the trading post, bought Disney stationery, and made us all driver's licenses, made us take a little test to drive the golf cart. And we came home with like the coolest souvenir that was probably like a last minute thought on his part.
How cute.
But I loved that. And so I try to kind of think about what is fun at the particular resort where we are staying and do something along those lines. One time at the campgrounds, we were all older kids, college-aged and high school, and we decided we were going to decorate a tree in our campground for Christmas. We were going over Christmas, and we were going to make a tree, and that was how it was going to be. But we weren't taking a tree because, of course, there would be a pine tree at our campsite. Well, of course, there was not. So we wound up decorating this oddly shaped bush with popcorn we had strung and old reject ornaments from our Christmas trees and things that we had handmade. And I loved that Christmas tree. I thought it was one of the best things going. And every morning somebody would go stand out by it when the housekeeping staff came around so that they didn't take it down and throw it in the trash. So things like that, I think help create magic. And And I think sometimes giving kids control of it can really be fun. So for our next trip, some of the older kids are trying to come up with a few ideas for the toddlers to see if they can't make a little bit of magic for them too. So
Fun.
yeah.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about. I mean, mine is still of an age where I can fool him, so long as he doesn't listen to any of these podcasts.
Right. Don't let him listen to this one. I know. I was thinking I better put a warning label on this one.
But he's getting close, and But I think you're right that getting him involved in making magic for the rest of the family. Is probably the way to go once he hits that point.
Yeah, we actually surprised our kids 2 years ago with a trip. None of them knew that they were going to Disney, and they didn't know the other families were coming. And there were 3 families and gobs of kids, and it was a great time, and they were so excited. But the 2 oldest said, please don't do that anymore because half the fun for us is planning. And so I feel like they do eventually get to an age where that's part of the fun. And so trying to include them in that this time, I think will be fun for me too, to kind of see what do they come up with.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Really great idea. Where are we in the rotation? I forgot whose turn it is to share an idea.
I think it's mine.
Okay.
So we did a Christmas one also. Last December, we took a 12-day trip at Christmas time. And so being 12 days, I decided I would do a 12-day of Christmas theme. And so I actually ordered a tabletop tree off of Amazon and had it shipped to the resort. And then I struggled a little coming up with ornaments because I didn't want to be taking a whole lot of glass ornaments in my suitcase. But I ended up finding some small Mickey ear ornaments that I liked. And then I used my silhouette and made, found an ornament shape and then put characters, different characters on them. So that I had paper ornaments made out of gold glittery paper with all the characters.
Fun.
And then, so I had the tree. I also had some garland. This is not an idea I would recommend, but I had bought some garland that was red and it had green like holly leaves on it. And I took my Mickey punch and I punched out little Mickey heads and then put them on the garland like they were little holly berries, except they were Mickey heads, which I basically had to hand stitch each of them on the entire length of the garland. That was not fun. But, but the point is that I made some fairly simple decorations. I had the tree shipped to the resort, and then so I set up the tree and and then every morning there would be some presents under the tree. I very quickly calculated that 12 days of presents for 4 people would be a lot of presents. So only like 2 people got presents each day, and there was sort of a different theme. And so each day it was like a different character. So, if it was Ariel, it would be like, I'm a collector. I hear you're a collector. Here are some pins and, that kind of thing. So it was different categories and different themes that we did for the 12 days. And it was funny because when we were in the resort, we saw some Christmas decorations on another door. And my son said, they must be getting pixie dust too. Because,
No, did you say, was it a real tree or a fake tree?
It was a fake. It was a tabletop tree.
Okay.
I got it pre-lit. It didn't cost me that much. And, I got it on Amazon and had it shipped to the resort. That's something I do not infrequently, is have things shipped both to and from the resorts. It's often, cheaper to pack up a box and ship it home with the souvenirs than it is to stuff them in our suitcase and pay the luggage fees, and vice versa.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you ship to the resort, Some resorts you can ship directly and just pick it up at the front desk. But the resorts that are conference centers, like Boardwalk, and some of the other deluxe resorts are conference centers, you have to pick them up at the shipping office, and there's a nominal fee, and it depends on how heavy and how large the package is, but it's not that bad. And any of them that are conference centers like that, you can go to the shipping office to ship. You can buy boxes and packing materials and all that. So we shipped the tree down and from Amazon, and then we ended up. I gave my son the choice of bringing the tree home to use at home or regifting it to someone else. I knew some people on the Disboards that were coming right after we left, because we went before the holiday. And my son decided, since we weren't putting up a tree at home because of the whole trip, that he decided we would bring it home. So I shipped it back too. But
see, I've shipped some things to other people at the resorts, and they never got them. And the package ended up coming back to me. And so I guess maybe you have to be careful. How do you address that when you ship it?
Yeah, I know on the Disboards, there's a thread about shipping, and at the top of it has all the addresses on it. So I would be certain that you're using the right address. Basically, each resort has its own address. So sending it specifically to the resort, usually I haven't ever heard of anyone having problems that way. So
yeah, we actually use the shipping service a lot, honestly, for diapers and wipes and things that are heavy that we don't want to pack in the luggage. And we've never had a problem. We usually ship it to Amy Harrison, and then I do put Wilderness Lodge or, wherever it is we are going, and that specific address. And they ring the room and let me know, hey, there's a package here for you. And I had, I think, 3 different senders while we were there, packages coming from different destinations to us, and they all made it safe and sound.
That's great.
And I usually ship so that it arrives a couple days beforehand. But I know of people who have shipped and had it arrive, a week or more early, and they just hold it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, Amy, did you have more items on your list?
The one other thing that we've done is our friends, when they went on their first trip without us, I wanted to do something special for them. And it was at a time when the My Pal Mickey was a big deal. I don't know if you remember My Pal Mickey, but we had one and the kids used it all the time. And so I called the resort where they were staying, the Polynesian, and I said, hey, could we have Tinkerbell deliver this to them without even knowing, the parents knowing that it was coming. And I'll tell you, the cast members were awesome about the whole thing. They bought right into it, and I told them exactly what I wanted and paid for it over the phone, and they got it to them as they checked in. So
fun.
It was really fun to do for them. And this was before Disney itself was doing more of the package delivery kinds of things. But I think, if you have an idea, go for it. The Disney people are just so willing to help and make magic for the guests.
I think that's a great idea, because I hadn't even ever thought of getting cast members involved in adding extra magic and pixie dust.
Yeah.
For my kids for their trip. That's a great idea.
So, and then the other thing that I don't know how many people know about it, it seems like not a lot of people use it, but Disney makes their own Disney dollars. And I think one of the most fun things is to just give your kids some Mad Money Disney dollars. They're printed up with different portraits of different characters. I think they come in 1s, 5s, and 10s now. And they work just like cash at the parks, anywhere you want to use them, at snack carts or stores or wherever. And it's really fun for the kids to have a little extra money and, oh my gosh, what are you going to do with it? In fact, one of our kids went around telling everybody, I hit the jackpot. Mickey gave me money. It was just a joy to watch him spend that money. He loved it.
Cute.
So,
and they sell those at the Disney stores now too, right?
Yes, they do.
And then, or you can get them inside the parks.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get them at the hotels anymore, but I know at least at Magic Kingdom on Main Street, you can get them there at City Hall.
Perfect. Did you have any other items on your list, Terri?
Well, this one isn't mine, but I saw it on the blog of a friend recently. So Nirupama Kumar took her family to Disney World recently, and she's expecting. And so right before they went on their trip, they had the ultrasound, but they decided not to they weren't sure whether they were going to reveal the gender or not. So the technician put it in an envelope and sealed it up. So they had it with them, and so they decided that they wanted to know, so they decided that they would do a kind of Disney reveal. So they tossed around a bunch of ideas, and eventually what they decided to do was they were in Magic Kingdom, and they were in front of the castle. And again, they got a couple cast members involved. They got a photo pass photographer to take some pictures. And he actually, supposedly, I think he pulled in another PhotoPass photographer, so they got a bunch from different angles, and there's some
fun.
gorgeous shots of her, pregnant in front of the castle. So what they did was, her little boy took the envelope over to the balloon seller. The balloon seller looked at the envelope and then sent him back with a balloon of the appropriate color. It was blue. And so, so they're in the middle of the Magic Kingdom, and she's trying not to look, and her little girl's going, "It's a blue one, it's a blue one." So, it was, again, a kind of impromptu, but they have some just really gorgeous pictures and, just that magical memory now.
Wow.
Yeah, how fun.
That is fun.
How fun. When I went with my sisters, I made little gifts for them each day. But I think I just handed it to them all at once when we got there. I handed my one sister's hers, and then our other sister was coming late. We were heading to the park, and our other sister was coming late, and so I left hers out on the bed. But I made a T-shirt for each of them. I made a T-shirt with the Hitchhiking ghosts on it. The silhouette, actually, I think it might have been yours, Amy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, from your Hitchhiking ghosts, and so I made T-shirts out of them. Used my silhouette, and I used white glitter iron-on heat transfer vinyl for the cutouts on black T-shirts, and then I also did each of them a T-shirt with their favorite character. My one sister loves Mary Poppins. My other sister wanted one that said Practically Perfect, and so I made her one that said Practically Perfect. And then I made them each, or I didn't make them, I bought them on Etsy from my favorite necklace seller, and I'll put a link in the notes because I remember actually her name right now, her store name. But a necklace and a bracelet, matching bracelets for the Halloween party that we were going to with on Halloween night. But actually, I didn't give him the necklaces then because we had a kind of snafu with my daughter putting the package aside, so I didn't think it came in time. But I gave him the bracelets, and they were thrilled with all of that stuff. Just so fun. They didn't expect it, and some extra things. And it was fun for me to get to see them wear their shirts in the park and be excited about their bracelets and all of that extra stuff. And then with my family in 2006, when we went to Disney World, I did a few extra little gifts for them, just goodie baskets with extra snacks and stuff like that. And then one of my friends, Kim Lund, who's been on the show before, sent a gift basket to our family because she wanted to try one of the local delivery services. That was back in the day when it was easier for outside delivery people to deliver things.
Yeah.
More so than it is now. But so it was a plush Mickey and some water bottles and snacks and things like that. And that was a super fun surprise. I didn't know that was coming either. She sent me an email after the day that it was supposed to be delivered to check with me to make sure that it came. But that was really fun for me to have that extra Pixie Dust in my room and be a recipient, because usually I'm the one that's creating it.
Exactly.
It was fun to be the recipient. So, all right. Do either of you have more items on your lists?
I have one last one.
Okay, let's hear it.
So on our last trip, we stayed off-site. So we had we had been planning to go in October, and we canceled for financial reasons. But then I realized I had some airline miles. We still had our annual passes from our last big trip. And so I decided I would take my son for his birthday. And, keep it low key, nothing. We weren't planning any big character meals or anything big, stuff. And we were staying with my parents. So he knew there wouldn't be any, in-room pixie dust, right? Because we were staying off-site. But I still, he's like, will there still be surprises? And I'm like, there will still be surprises. So I was trying to keep, be cost conscious this time. But I wanted to do something. And so, on our Magic Kingdom day, we were planning to spend a lot of time trying out the new pirate adventure game that's in Adventureland, right? Mm-hmm. And so I decided to sort of make a whole pirate thing. So we wrote Pirates of the Caribbean, and we played the game, and we did the pirate tutorial with Jack Sparrow. And so I went to the party store and just, bought some pirate bandanas and a hook for my son and some pirate tattoos, And so it was me and my son and my parents, and we all four put on the bandanas and put on pirate tattoos and spent the day walking around, just, like pirates. And it just, it made that playing the game and just a little more interactive, just a little more, gave it just that little extra fun. And, and all day long, cast members, not just cast members, other guests would walk by and go, arg,
fun.
And make, pirate jokes. And, it was just that little extra bit of fun. And, I was, as my son gets a little older, they start to, get out of some of that. But I think it was fun for him to see that, even my parents did it, right? It was, that this is something you can do at Disney, and, and so it was a lot of fun.
You're never too old for Disney, right?
Right.
It's the one place that you can do that kind of stuff and nobody will think twice.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what we love about it.
Oh, that's good.
All right. That's a great idea. I love that idea. I also was going to mention that last Easter, I went to Target the day after Easter and hit their 50% off, and they had tons and tons of Disney stuff. They also had those bigger M&M containers that we like to use for pressed pennies. They had them in pink and yellow, pastel yellow and mint green. Lots of fun different colors that you can't get other times of the year. And then they had little princess fingernail polish kits, and which is something totally not specific to Easter, but very Disney, and that you could, stock up on if you have a trip coming up or a birthday party or anything like that. Stock up and save and use them for extra pixie dust gifts in the rooms, which I was able to get a huge bag of stuff, a big, a regular Target bag filled to overflowing with stuff for $12, I think. It was great.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
50 to
after
75.
Easter and after Halloween, you can find a lot of good stuff on clearance. Definitely worth looking. And during Easter, they also have Disney-themed, I think they call them treat boxes. They're not exactly plastic eggs, but I used those in the car on our road trip as rewards. Like, if you can be good for the next, when we get to this landmark, then I've got a special thing for you. And they were, filled with goldfish crackers or whatever. But, it's incentive, and they were exceptionally cheap. So, it's a great tip.
Yeah, I love that. I love those because they had princess ones and Cars themed, and then Darth Vader as well.
Yeah, we got R2-D2.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
So, yeah.
Fun, yeah. And that's exactly, I think they're to replace the plastic eggs, but they're perfect because they're not an egg shape.
Exactly, yeah. They don't look Eastery, so you could reuse them for anything.
Yeah.
I also find...
Go ahead.
God, I was going to say, I also find at this time of year that in the stocking stuffer aisles at Target and at Michael's and Joann's, that they have a lot of, inexpensive Disney stuff as well.
Great idea. And then always the dollar store. They have tons of Disney.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
Themed stuff at the at the dollar store. Lots of great ideas for and inexpensive ways to add some extra pixie dust, because there are lots of inexpensive ways that you could do it if you're being budget conscious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think you have to spend a lot of money in order to have a lot of extra fun.
Yeah. Because the in-room stuff that Disney does is fabulous and wonderful. I have not ever done it. It's expensive. It's not.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It is beautiful, but you're right. It can get expensive, and Disney can be expensive.
Yes.
So, yeah, there are some good ways to just cut down on some of that. In fact, one year, I think I ran a Mickey silhouette through my silhouette machine, cut them out, and made magnets with everybody's name on it, just using magnet paper. So, I mean, it's a cute little thing, and we had them we always stay in the villas, so everybody put them on the refrigerator, and then you take them home, and, it doesn't have to be super expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun ideas. I'm excited about all of the ideas that you shared, and I'm super excited for my next family trip so that I can implement them and add a bunch of extra pixie dust. We're going to try and go, I think, in the spring for a big family trip. My oldest is graduating from high school, and we want to do one last Disney trip as a family. It's so sad that we're approaching that time when it's going to get difficult with college schedules and regular, high school schedules and school schedules for the other kids.
Yeah.
But here we are. So the phase of life we're in.
We always somehow managed to glom on to my parents' trips. So there's hope.
There you go. I know. And I never did. Once I graduated from high school, it was like that was over. I don't think I went on any other vacations with my family that I remember with my parents. I remember them going to Disney plenty of times after I graduated, but it was during my finals or something like that. And they probably did it on purpose because it would be cheaper if I didn't go, So yeah, I was not successful in doing that, but I am confident that they planned them at times when I wouldn't be able to go so that it would be less expensive. Less airfare, less food, everything.
Indeed.
Yep. All right, let's move on into some picks with Pixie Dust. Do you guys have some picks you want to share? I hope.
Sure.
Terri, you want to go?
Okay, so I was in Target last week picking up stocking stuffers, and I happened to be in the home decor section, and I noticed that they had wall decals. It's like Roommates brand, I think. And they had a bunch of different themes, but they had a lot of Disney themes. So there were Mickey and Minnie, and there was, a lot of Toy Story and Cars and Star Wars and, I don't know, Marvel and, some other things. But and princesses, lots of princesses. And so, I'd seen people comment on some of, the wall stuff before, but a lot of them are, $60, $70, $100. Some of these were $10 and $20.
Really?
In little packages, in small packages meant to, to just decorate, part of a room or around a desk or, whatever. But so if you wanted to decorate a hotel room, right, then, if you're only spending $10, then that's a lot more reasonable. And there was just some really cute themes.
That's a great idea.
It struck me as a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're online. They're on Target online as well. They're Roommates wall decals, and they're in the stores. So.
Fun. I can't wait until Frozen stuff starts coming out. In that kind of stuff. Oh, so exciting. Hey, Amy, do you have a pick?
Well, I don't know if this fits into what you usually do, but one of the things that I always make sure when somebody says, oh, hey, we're going to Disney, I always recommend the Passporter guidebook. Have you heard of this before?
Yes.
I love their guidebook. I think it's especially nice for people who scrapbook because it comes with little pockets in the back that you can collect all of your paraphernalia and bring it home. But it's also an excellent planning guide for the Uber planner, which I happen to fall into that category. And they have terrific online resources as well if you want packing lists or specific updates to certain things. There's really on the ball with all of their planning and organization. So I definitely think Passporter is the way to go in that department.
I love Passporter too. It's a great tool for planning. I agree.
Yeah. And they have great customer service too. I think we had an issue at one point and it was resolved, within a day. It was fantastic. So I can't say enough about them.
Yeah. Perfect. My pick is my Vera Bradley Mickey print bag. Because I was trying to think of things that I love having with me at Disney, and I'm going to start picking a few of those. And I love my bag so much, and I get so many compliments on it when I'm at the parks, especially Disney World, because it's super hip on the East Coast. Vera Bradley's super hip on the East Coast, not so much on the West Coast, which is always interesting to me. But I love it so much because it just brings me lots of happiness to have it in the parks with me. My cute Mickey print Vera Bradley hipster that I can swing over. It's a crossbody bag, and so I'll put up a link to that in the show notes. They have 2 prints that came out initially, and I'm having a hard time thinking of the name of my print. I'll pull it up though. And then they introduced a new print. So the bags came out last spring, and they hit the parks I think in spring, summer, fallish. I don't even remember. It all blends together for me. It starts rolling all together. And then they just came out with a new print. I think they announced them in the spring. Yeah, they announced them April, May. They hit the parks in August, I believe. And then they announced another print. And they're going to be continually adding more and more prints, which is super exciting, I think. So the name of my print is Midnight with Mickey. So it's the black one with all of the fun colors. And what I ended up doing was, because they were selling out of them, when I was in Disney World this last trip, they were gone. This Midnight with Mickey was gone in Disney World from everything that I heard. Disneyland, when I was there in October, and that's when I bought it, they were running low. And so I bought one, and I didn't love the character placement on it. I wanted something that had you could see Mickey and Minnie and know that it's, Mickey and Minnie. Hello. And so I ended up buying one, and then I took it and traded it at Downtown Disney when I found a better placement, and they totally did that for me. It worked out really well. This Midnight with Mickey hipster, Vera Bradley hipster, I can see is now selling on eBay for $235. I bought it for $70. So wait until they get them back in the parks. Don't buy it on eBay. That's insane. I think that you can also order them online. So I'll put a link to the online collection. I'll try and find that and link up to that so that if people want to buy it, they can. So it's exciting for me. I love Vera bags. Alrighty. Let's remind our listeners where they can find each of us. Terri, do you want to go ahead?
You can find me on Twitter at Terri Torrez, and you can usually find me on the Disboards, and now you can find me on the Capturing Magic blog.
Perfect. And your Twitter is Terri Torrez? That's what you said?
Terri Torrez, yeah.
Okay. Are you on Instagram too?
I have an account, but I mostly only use it to look at other people's stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a sister that does that too. She's like, I don't follow anybody. I just go look at who I want. Alrighty, Amy.
I'm Amy Harrison, and you can find me at merryweatherscottage.blogspot.com. I'm also on Instagram, Merryweather's Cottage. And I also have some designs on Redbubble and Etsy where I go by Amy Harrison or Harrison Amy. So.
Yeah, you do some T-shirts and fun stuff like that too.
I do, yes, and some iPad and iPhone cases. So
Very
worth
fun.
looking at.
Yeah, for sure. And your blog is definitely worth checking out. I love it since I discovered
Yeah, check it out. It's filled with all kinds of ideas.
Lots of really fun crafty DIY. You just finished up a Christmas ornament, right?
Yeah, we're just finishing up the 12 days of DIY Christmas ornaments. And I think I have enough ideas that we might be doing it again next Christmas.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah, it's been a real fun time doing that.
And they're all Disney related ornaments, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really fun and creative ideas that you have over there. It's exciting.
Well, thank you very much. I'm hoping next year to be releasing some Disney Princess tea blends that I've been doing for a tea party. So, we'll see.
Wow. Wow, impressive.
Yeah. You never know
Yeah.
what's happening in the cottage.
Yeah, that's exciting. Okay, I'm Steph from Capturing Magic. I'm also over at thedailydigi.com where we have digital scrapbooking tips, tutorials, inspiration, and we have a membership where you can get over $50 worth of digital scrapbooking supplies for $7.50 a month. And then at Capturing Magic, we have our iPhone apps, which just went free not too long ago. So be sure to check them out. They will help you remember to capture all those magic memories that you're making in the parks. And then you can also find lots of information, resources, and ideas for capturing and documenting all of the magic when you're in the parks as well. Alrighty, girls. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Capturing Magic.